Hi, it's JJ DiGeronimo. Thank you so much for joining us. I have such an exciting guest today. Natalie Thomas is with us today, and the topic is so fantastic. I think it's something that we should all look into, even if we're just thinking about maybe what to do in the upcoming next year or what to do for a big birthday. Maybe we can't shift our whole lives, but maybe we can strategically design where we travel in the world based on our astrocartography. So, Natalie, thank you so much for joining us.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
So, tell me, what is astrocartography?
Yeah, so astrocartography is basically when you take your astrological birth chart based on the time you're born, the date of your birth, and the place of your birth, and we overlay it with a map of the Earth. So everyone has their own unique astrocartography map. And when I say we overlay it with a map of the Earth, it's based on the time you're born, place of birth, date of birth. It comes up with all these crazy lines that are over the whole map of the world, and these lines signify a specific energy that's really, unique to you. And the energies are very different, and they might be, places that you might want to travel to or to settle down, maybe some places you might want to avoid. And it really helps if you're trying to decide on a place to live, or maybe a place just to vacation to, a place to travel to, and you need a little extra guidance. And it's all, again, based on your astrological birth chart.
So, this sounds amazing. I think I have some ideas of like where I'm always drawn to the Caribbean, always.
Yeah.
So, I just always want to be in water. It's just like that's where I always want to be, in beautiful water. So, I'm looking forward to doing mine. So, tell me, like, obviously, you don't leave college or high school and decide, okay, this is what I'm going to do. So, how did this come to you?
It's been such an interesting journey. I really went deep into the mindfulness realm, really into astrology about 10 years ago. And it was really just my own studying and my own doing, because I do teach yoga, I do teach meditation. I've always been interested in astrology in general. Growing up, my mom was like, "Oh, you're such a Sagittarius." And at 12 years old, I'm like, "What does that mean?" So it was about really me deep diving into astrology. And then about 5 years ago, I left the US, where I'm originally from, and I started traveling, and I've been living abroad for about 5 years now. And it was just through my own discovery and through working with different coaches and, different mentors, I was able to kind of combine, the travel and astrology. And I just really gained an interest for it. And it is a kind of a more unique thing. It definitely was not overnight. It was a long, more of a longer process. But with astrology in general and astrocartography, it's really peeling back so many different layers, and there's so much to understand and unpack. And then really just through, I gave a few talks on astrocartography, opened it up to donation readings, and really grew from there. So that's really kind of how I got started with this, which was almost 2 years ago for astrocartography.
That's really great to know too, because I have a lot of people in Together We Seek online that are doing it off the side of their desk, that some type of energy work, spiritual work. And I love the idea that you did it by donation first, because a lot of women are often like, well, I'm not really ready to charge yet, but when would I be ready? So the idea of starting it and doing donation based is super exciting because it gives people an on-ramp.
Absolutely. It was a way for me to learn, right? So I was still learning I'm always still learning. Even now doing these astrocartography readings, it's still uncovering so much. But by doing the donation based, at first, it really gave people a chance to, okay, like, let me see what this is about. And it gave also me a chance to really learn as I unpacked this further.
I love that. I love that. And so okay, so you decided to leave. I saw in your bio that you were in California
Mhm.
and you decided to go on the road. Now, are you planning your travel based on your
Mhm.
are you,
Astrocartography.
yes, on your astrocartography chart?
That's a really good question. I actually get that question a lot. And I would say not really. And the only reason being is because when I started my journey abroad, I did not know about astrocartography, or I did, but I wasn't so knowledgeable about it. But what's been so interesting now, I would say yes, I actually do kind of look at like certain places where I might want to go to. But I see this a lot with clients. I'm able to look back on places that I lived abroad or even places where I lived in the States. And I do have specific lines going through them. And even when I give readings to people, we look back and they're like, oh my gosh, I've been there before, or that's the place I wanted to go. And it's normally based on our intuition, right? And a lot of the places I've been to and I've been traveling to have been based on intuition. And then there have been lines going through. Now that I've gone deeper into astrocartography over the last year, year and a half, I wouldn't say I'm throwing my eggs in like all in one basket with astrocartography, because I do feel like every specific country has a certain energy, regardless if you have lines or not. But it is definitely something I do consider, right? Like, and just for a quick example, if there's like a hard Saturn line going through maybe a country or a city, maybe to me, that's not a place where I really want to settle down. Versus if there's a Jupiter line that's a little bit more exciting, that brings a little bit more abundance, and I would be more keen to maybe travel there. So it definitely has come more into play into my travels over, I would say, the last year.
I can completely appreciate that. I have been studying astrology for the last 3 years, and I've been doing birth charts for folks. And I have to tell you, like, I've learned so much from my birth chart that I wanted to be able
Yeah.
to teach other people how to open up their birth chart and just look to see, where is your Jupiter? Where's your Midas? Where's your Saturn?
Mm-hmm.
Where is your Chiron sitting? I think it gives, and especially women, because I do a lot of work with women, but it allows us permission to step into like what our life's work is, even if it's not super detailed, at least gives us a little indication or glimpse into the work we're supposed to be doing.
Absolutely. And what you were saying with astrology is, gosh, I'm going to have to call you for reading, because I don't consider myself like an astrologer. I still have my astrologist and I can, read birth charts, but not so in depthly. It's more the astrocartography. But like what you were saying, giving people that, okay, like here's more about your life path and your journey. And it's almost the same, right, with travel, with astrocartography. A lot of clients of mine might be like, I'm kind of scared to travel, or I have this gut feeling to go here, or even why do I feel different? Why do I feel like I just want to go travel and that's against the norm? And then I look at their chart and I'm like, well, you have travel in your chart. It actually, like, we can look here that it's in your favor to live in a foreign country at least once in your lifetime. So it does give them more of a sense of peace of like, oh, what I was thinking was actually, my intuition was correct. And I can be outside of the norm. So it does give people more of that hope of like stepping into their power and into their life path.
I just love all this because it's just another level of information. That's what I tell people. Like a lot of people do
Absolutely.
Myers-Briggs or 360 reviews or strength finders, and your astrology or your birth chart is just another level of information you can tap into. And I love this because there's so many of my friends that, I'm close to 50 and a lot of my friends are close to that age and they still have so many bucket list items. So getting this for a gift for somebody, maybe for their 50th birthday, which are people in my
Absolutely.
realm, or just any big event, Mother's Day, Christmas, holidays, Easter, whatever your holidays are. I think an astrocartography actually helps people get a little bit more gumption or guts to take that experience, trip, adventure.
Absolutely. It's definitely a fun thing to give to other people because so and just what you said, giving people, that like extra little go, because sometimes that's what we need. And sometimes we need that little push and to go explore, to like do something different. And we do have like bucket lists until we're, until we transition, so to say. And we want to travel, we want to see the world. So it doesn't even matter the age, and which is great because I've worked with people, gosh, who are in their low 20s. And I've worked with people all the way up to probably 70, right? And they are looking to travel still or relocate. So it is an amazing gift. And it's just, I'll tell you, it's so much fun. It's just so much fun. Like we just have a great time looking at the world and we talk about travel, and I'm happy to give my input based on travel. I learned from clients based off of places that they've been to that I've never been to yet. So it's super fun and very, very interesting. And what's your sign, by the way?
I'm an Aquarius with Sagittarius moon and Cancer rising.
Wow. Okay. So that's why you love the water. And when I see Sagittarius moon, I definitely think travel. So you must really like to
Oh,
travel.
I do. And this is why I'm going to do this for myself in January with you. And I cannot wait. So maybe
Mhm.
we can record it and show everybody. But I think,
Absolutely.
yeah, I just love it. And I feel like for me, I'm just trying to take the mystique out of some of these things to make it more acceptable, more available. And for me, trying to find and working with practitioners like yourself that come through word of mouth. So I learned about you through Mary. And she was so loving your work. And I feel like the community Together We Seek is about recommended energy workers so that if you
Mhm.
are going down this path, but you don't know where to start, we've already done a lot of the heavy lifting of connecting with Natalie, understanding her practice, and really connecting people to help each other. Because for me, our biggest challenge in life is our own self doubt. And I think if we can work together to push through that self doubt with tools such as this, it really just kind of gives us a little bit more flow in our actions.
Oh my gosh, it is so true. And just from meeting you now and knowing Mary and, I'm sure you're the same, right? We know so many people in the mindfulness and spiritual realm that we can trust and kind of all come together. We're all there to help each other and to help others and to really grow and to, like you said, we did a lot of the heavy lifting, but to give people the tools that they can use to better their own lives. And I'm sure they're going to share with somebody else. It's really just a ripple effect. And I like to say that everything that I teach and, share with others, it was things that I've learned from somebody else, right? So we're
Yeah.
all just passing this down and really sharing this information and taking the woo out of it. I tell a lot of people with astrology, we can look back to, gosh, this has been around thousands and thousands and thousands of years. So many well-known, famous people use astrology. A lot of, gosh, we can go back to like Sir
Churches.
Isaac.
Churches
Yeah,
used
so for
astrology.
churches.
Right.
Yes, exactly. Like Sir Isaac Newton, who had discovered the law of gravity, was a famous mathematician. He was an amazing astrologer at his time. And Benjamin Franklin, when he signed the Declaration of Independence, he used astrology to do that. And choose a specific day. That's just like two very brief examples in like the church. So it has just been around for so long, and now that taking the mysticism out of it and making it more practical for people to digest is it's been really fun and awesome.
That's great. Well, I want to definitely dive into some of the mindfulness stuff you're doing, but I really feel like for me, some of the woo
Yeah.
is the knowing of women, and we have been
Yes.
conditioned not to tap into our knowing on purpose. And so I feel like in my
Mhm.
lifetime is like, let's unpackage that. Let's
Oh
try to get
yeah.
women to tap into this more because there's so many organizations that try to tell us it's bad. And I believe it's
Mhm.
because they don't really want us to know our power.
Totally agree with you,
Yeah.
100%. We are all so powerful, and they make that woo like, oh, you can't go there. But that's really just that's our intuition that's connecting. And we are such powerful beings that because it's been suppressed over such amount of time, it's and kept people in fear, it's more easy to control people. So now that we're stepping more into our power, especially as women, we're able to become more powerful, share our voice, and really transform not only our lives, but share that with others and hopefully transform others' lives as well.
That is beautiful, Natalie. And really, the reason
Mhm.
I created Together We Seek online is just
Yeah.
an easy place. I've spent my life, my mom introduced me to Lilydale. I've gone to Capella. I've been to Sedona, and I feel like it's really great if you have the budget and people guiding you to these places. But if you don't, having this online place to connect with people is so exciting because it gives us an easy way to just see. Let me just see what's out there. You don't have to commit to necessarily a reading, but if something calls to you and you're like, you know what, let me just check out what astrocartography is and how and where might I make my next trip, whether it's in the States, maybe even just a couple states away from where you live today.
Oh, for sure. It's really interesting, like just what you can unpack. And it kind of like, as people go deeper into astrocartography, or as I'm sure that you've seen in astrology, it's like, oh, wow, there is some truth to this. Something's resonating with me. And it's something, it's like something is starting to sit with people like, oh, now I'm starting to see. So it's kind of creating that step, that light to really go deeper. within themselves, because that's what astrology and even astrocartography is. It's really helping people, what you said, unpack their life purpose, which is already inside of them, right? It's already inside of us, our life purpose, our mission, and everything is here. And you're just giving, people the tools to like go deeper into that and really see what comes out so they can reach their full potential.
I love that. I love
Mhm.
that. So thank you so much. And at the end, I want to get your URL just so people, whether they're in community or just happen to come across this podcast episode, I want them to be able to reach out to you directly. But tell us a little bit about your mindfulness practice.
Absolutely. I would say I had, I guess my awakening or whatever you want to call it, about 10 years ago in 2012.
Mm-hmm.
My mindfulness practice started a little bit before that. I was actually a springboard diver growing up, a really competitive diver. And it was through a mindfulness video that my coach had me watch when I was, I don't even know, 9 or 10. I mean, this is like the 90s, aging myself. And, super old video of how to train your mind to do sports. And through that practice and through that practice of meditation, I didn't even know it was called meditation at the time, visualization techniques, I was able to perform well. And then, of course, when my visualization was off, maybe I didn't do so well. So when I went through this awakening in 2012, it was like, oh, wow, I've actually used those tools before for diving. Maybe I can use this in my day-to-day life as well, in other aspects of my life. And through that's when I started working with mentors. I started having a meditation practice. I started yoga around 2010, so maybe that kind of helped prompted it. And through there, it's just been the most crazy journey. And I'll tell you what, JJ, when this happened, I'm sure you can kind of relate. There was like no social media, like nothing. And people were like, what are you doing? They're like, are you in a cult? Like, what's happening? I'm like, oh my gosh, you just want to like tell everyone like, about your mindfulness journey. And people are like, what's going on? But it was really just, and then I moved out to LA after that. But it was just really such a deep awareness and understanding I received in 2012 when I wasn't at a great point in my life. And it was through working with mentors, through doing a lot of reading and meditation, and even up to this day, continuing to unpack a lot that I've gone through from, even like past lives, we can say. It's just been such an incredible journey. And then through my learnings and through my teachings, through my mentors, I started creating courses and programs for others. So I work one-on-one with clients. I work with corporate clients. And now I work with a company called OncoPower, which is an app for cancer patients. And I lead up their mindfulness I guess their mindfulness suite on the app, you can say, and I create all their meditations and work one-on-one with the patients just to help give them, some tools while they go through such a challenging time. So who knows what the future is going to bring? No idea. But that's kind of how I really got started on this journey.
That is absolutely beautiful. I just finished my third book, Seeking, and I started my journey, around 2012, like a re-journey. Like I was
Yes.
already on a journey, but like I was kickstarted into a journey. And then 2016, like even farther in. And I
Wow.
write in the book all the practitioners I visited and all the things I had to dig through to create more light in my
Mm-hmm.
life. But one of my
Mm-hmm.
chapters is guides. And, my guidance counselor was a guide, kind of pushed me in a direction. And it sounds like your coach was a guide, not knowing at the time they were a guide, but they were the first person that really kind of exposed you to something or showed you something that you would later tap into.
Absolutely. These certain people that show up in our lives in that way and kind of plant the seed to something. And then it's all connected. And then you can go back and be like, wow, like I can't even believe that led to that. And then that led to that. And that mindset helped me with this. And yeah, it's been truly incredible.
So magical. And I think for anyone listening, like there are no accidents and there are often clues along the way if we're present enough to be aware of what's happening. It could be a phone call, a conversation, just a word, a course that keeps crossing your desk. It is funny how the universe serves things up to you if you are present enough to recognize and receive them.
Yeah, I could not agree more. And like you said, all these practices just really help you become more present. And the present's a gift, right?
It
That's
really
why they call it
is.
a present. That's why they call it a present. That's why, yeah.
I love
We
it.
joked
I
the other day.
absolutely love it. And I'm looking forward. I'm definitely going to do a reading. I can't wait. I'm probably going to
Great.
record it for all of you. In January is my birthday
Mhm.
month. So that will be my gift to myself, which
Perfect.
I love doing. I always love to gain additional insight for my birthday. So, Natalie, if people want to reach out to you or find you, what's the best way to do that?
So you can visit me through my website. It is thenowwithnat.com. And through my website, there is an astrocartography section. So you can just click the link if you're interested in a reading. I'm also happy to give all your listeners a discount. I don't
Ooh,
know if there's I'll create a little discount code. Is there a code that you would want to use and
maybe
I can give
together.
it?
Let's see. TWS, maybe 2023. TWS 2023.
Okay, so TWS 2023 will give you a discount on the reading. So if you're listening to this, just use that discount code when you check out, or you can connect with me via Instagram at the Now with Nat.
Okay. And is it now like NOW?
Yep, like the Now NOW with Nat.
With Nat, the Now with Nat. Well, we're
Yeah.
looking forward to seeing more of you in 2023. I definitely want to include the Cancer app in the recording because I feel like
Yes.
we all know somebody with cancer, and mindfulness and a combination. I've seen a lot of people do a combination of natural medicines, mindfulness, doctors' recommendations has been a really winning recipe. Our friend Heidi Bright, who's also on the community, she wrote an amazing book for cancer patients that has a lot of that in there too. So I feel like we just can't really get enough out there
Mhm.
for people, and just sharing your
Mhm.
journey with us is so amazing because I know that your nuggets in your journey will empower others.
Thank you. No, it's been such an honor and pleasure speaking with you today. And just thank you so much for having me. It's always just so much fun to have a good chat and talk about mindfulness and all of this stuff. So thank you.
Oh, Nan, thank you so much. And I look forward to seeing all of you again. So thank you for joining us. Have a great day.